Today's video has it all. We've got intrigue, we've got plagiarism claims, we've got lawyers, we've got lawyers, we've got lawyers, and boy, do we have a judge. Whoo-wee. We have a judge. Oh, and more importantly, we have a Gandalf. So stick around and let's talk about the Crave lawsuit. What do you think, buddy? You want to talk about lawsuits? He just wants me to put him down and rub his belly. Hi there. Welcome to the channel. Or welcome back if you've been here before. I'm glad to meet you. Or have you back. Or whatever I'm trying to say. I know. Starting this one out as a winner, aren't we? I'm John Hartness. I'm the founder and publisher of Falstaff Books, and I'm the author of over 40 novel-length works, including The Black Knight Chronicles, Bubba the Monster Hunter, Quincy Harker Demon Hunter, and many more. And today, we got a doozy. We have the absolute waste of well over 7 figures of money for something that, if these authors had just watched my video, well, okay, my YouTube channel wasn't really doing that back then. Do not eat my softbox, kitty. Get out of there. Anyway, if the authors had a time machine and could have watched my video where I say, your ideas aren't that flippin' precious, they could have saved themselves years of legal wrangling and millions of dollars. But they didn't. So here's the deal. God. This is going to take a bit, so maybe go to the bathroom, put this on pause, go to the bathroom and come back, because there's a lot to unpack here. This is what I'm calling the Crave lawsuit, in which an author named Lynn Freeman sued an author named Tracy Wolff, who wrote the best-selling YA series Crave, along with multiple other titles that start with C. But we're going to call it the Crave series, because I think that's what most people call it. Lynn Freeman wrote a book. She entitled it Blue Moon Rising. She finished it in 2010, and it was your basic YA romantasy novel. Pretty girl falls in love with a werewolf, finds out she has magical powers, and she happens to be living in Alaska. She signed with an agent, Emily Sylvan Kim, who ran a small literary agency at the time. They worked on polishing and revising the book for the next 3 years. That's a long flippin' time. If there are agents watching this, and I hope there are, I'm currently not represented and wouldn't mind being, but I don't want to polish a book for 3 damn years. If my stuff isn't ready to go, don't sign me. Anyway, so they polished the book for 3 years. Submitted it, got decent feedback, but by 2014, they had gotten rejections from all but one publisher that they had submitted to. They pulled the book from the last place it was on sub, a press called Entangled. This will be important later. And then Kim dropped Freeman as an author. This is not terribly uncommon. Agents sign authors, think they'll be able to sell a book, can't sell the book, don't feel like the author is either making enough progress to be able to sell their next book, or they have a disagreement or whatever, and they part ways. It's no great big deal. It happens a lot. 7 years later, in 2021, Freeman picked up a YA novel called Crave by Tracy Wolff. Wandering through a bookstore, picks up a book. She writes YA, she reads YA. She started reading it and found a lot of similarities to her book, and in her words, started to have a panic attack right there in the bookstore. She freaked out pretty heavily, thinking, oh my God, this is my book. She freaked out even more when she did some digging and realized that her former agent, Emily Kim, was Tracy Wolf's agent. And according to Freeman, Kim had introduced them at an RWA conference in 2012. Wolf and Kim both say they don't remember that meeting, and frankly, I believe them. I did a College Educators Association conference this past weekend, just, Tuesday? So 3 days ago. If someone claimed to have met me at that conference and I didn't remember it, it does not at all mean that it wasn't true. It just means that I don't remember it. You meet a lot of people at conferences. You don't remember them all, especially when you're both unpublished or slightly published writers and you don't stay in touch. So I absolutely believe the agent and author when they say that if the meeting happened, they don't remember it. Because by the time this was all brought up, it was a decade later. So the one who's selling a lot of books also frequently doesn't remember meeting unpublished writers, and Tracy Wolf was successful by the time she met Lynn Freeman. Then Freeman found out that Stacey Abrams, not the one who was running for governor of Georgia, who is thanked in the acknowledgement of Crave, was the editor at Untitled who took in Freeman's submission a decade, 7 years earlier. So in 2022, Freeman sends a letter saying she's going to sue Wolf, Kim, Entangled's distributor, Macmillan, and Universal Studios, who had bought a film option for Crave. Entangled's lawyer replied that neither Pelletier, I'm sorry, I forgot to write down Ms. Pelletier's first name. She's the publisher of Entangled. Entangled's lawyer replied that neither Pelletier nor Wolf ever heard of Freeman, read her 10-year-old manuscript, nor were aware of any details concerning the Freeman work. That's a quote. They also said that the agent, Kim, didn't remember anything of the manuscript. Also, pretty believable. I've said in the past that I do freelance editing, and I don't remember any of the details of some of the books that I have edited, much less books that I have submitted for publication or gotten submitted for publication and chose not to publish. In March of 2022, Freeman filed a lawsuit. And this lawsuit ended up costing Freeman hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it cost the defendants over $1 million. I don't know why it cost the defendants so much more money, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm assuming it's because there were a pile of defendants, so there were 5 times as many lawyers getting paid on that side as there were getting paid on Freeman's side. But anyway, let's fast forward to last month, March of 2026. And here's where we meet my favorite character in this entire mess, Judge Colleen McMahon. Judge McMahon issued a summary judgment, which means that there's not going to be a trial. When parties agree to a summary judgment, it means that the judge gets to say what the deal is. And McMahon issued her summary judgment after reading about 5,000 pages of romantasy, including every book in the Crave series. And here's where this judge deserves a medal, because she read 5.5 unpublished drafts of Lynn Freeman's book, Blue Moon Rising. And there was a change of the title somewhere in there, and I didn't write it down and don't remember, and I don't care. But my God, this poor judge read 5 complete, unfinished books and a partial 6th. That is the Lord's work right there. Now, I've also read thousands of pages of romantasy because those books are chunks. But good Lord, reading 5 drafts of the same unpublished book from 2010 that was rejected by all the publishers that saw it, technically except Entangled, but whatever. That seems like cruel and unusual punishment that the judge inflicted upon herself in order to do her job. And the end result, the result of the summary judgment, is that nothing in the books is unique enough to be protected legally. The stuff that Freeman claimed absolutely had to be lifted from her book or even her real life were things like one of Woolf's characters is part gargoyle. And that had to be stolen from Freeman because she collects gargoyles. There's nothing in the book about gargoyles, but the author collects gargoyles. Oh, and scenes of flying over Alaska in a small plane must be lifted from Freeman because she remembers flying in a small bush plane with her grandfather, I think, as a child. So anyone using a small plane flying through Alaska must be ripping her off. Kelly Armstrong has entered the chat and would like to discuss her Rockton series, which is set in a remote section of Alaska that is only reachable through a small plane. Also, if you haven't read the Rockton books by Kelly Armstrong, you should check those out. They're very good. Not a hint of supernatural stuff anywhere in them, but they're really good books. And there's a really cute doggo in the books. There are, of course, a lot of similarities in the books. Let's be real. I mean, it is a romantasy. There are certain boxes you kind of got to check. They both feature female teenage protagonists that have experienced a personal tragedy. Neither heroine knows at the beginning of the book that they are magical, and they discover that through the book. I'm only referencing one book because Freeman only wrote one that's relevant to this case. I have no idea if Lynn Freeman has written more books or published more things, and I don't care. This is the one that I'm talking about. Both heroines fall for magical monster boys. Sure, one's a werewolf and one's a vampire, but if Twilight taught us anything, it's that vampires and werewolves are completely interchangeable. Right? No? They're not? Oh, my bad. Both characters experience panic attacks. Oh, wait. They don't. Freeman claimed that that was an element in the book, but according to the judge's reading of the texts and ruling, she didn't find any indication in any draft of Blue Moon Rising that the heroine experiences panic attacks. Both protagonists' boyfriends are hot, because that is unique to a romantasy, that there be a hot boy. Oh, wait. From the judge's ruling, which is now legal precedent, quote, hot, sexy, dangerous boys central to virtually all young adult romance novels cannot be copyrighted, end quote. No copyright on hotness. Good to know. Smelling good, a character smelling good, likewise not copyrightable, according to this decision. Both protagonists have a bisexual male friend, both of whom are charming and funny. Strangely enough, the gay best friend is also not copyrightable. This judge is the best. Her legal findings that the similarities are scenes affaire, I have no idea how to pronounce that, and I'm not going to look it up, but I hope I got a little close. Her ruling includes callbacks to Percy Jackson's utilization of the Chosen One trope and to Rey in Star Wars not knowing her heritage as a Jedi. This judge is either a nerd, has a nerd clerk, or one of them cosplays as a nerd really, really well. Here's a few tropes that the judge lists as unprotectable because they're staples of the genre, meaning that she didn't just read the 5,000 or 6,000 pages of romantasy that she read for this suit. She also took time to familiarize herself with the genre overall. Again, kudos to Judge McMahon. All of these things that the judge specifically calls out as being unprotectable because they're tropes and staples of the genre are things that Freeman listed in the suit that she was trying to sue over. One, the romantic lead being hot and dangerous and having an immediate connection to the heroine. Two, I'm not going to number all of these because, my God, there's a long list. The romantic lead warning the heroine to stay away from him. The romantic lead walking the heroine to class and inviting her to sit next to him. The heroine worrying about mean girls in the cafeteria. The mean girls trying to hurt the heroine. The heroine being embarrassed when the romantic lead finds her crying. The romantic lead trying to stay away from the heroine. The heroine reading books and doing research to learn more about the supernatural world. Yeah, that one's a new one. Willow. The existence of a supernatural war. The romantic lead telling the heroine he will keep her safe. Someone has murdered the heroine's parents. Perry water. The romantic lead and the heroine are questioning whether love is enough. The romantic lead has supernatural speed. Metrocullen? Yep. The heroine having to confront being lied to by her family about who she really is. Yeah, those are original elements. At the end of the day, this suit was dismissed and summary judgment was issued because the suit was stupid. It was trying to claim that tropes were protected. They aren't. That a former agent conspired with an editor/publisher to steal a writer's idea. They didn't. And that Freeman's book was so extraordinary that the only way someone could write anything like it was to steal it. It ain't. Courtney Milan said it best on Blue Sky. And Courtney is a best-selling romance writer and an attorney. Every time someone wants to sue over multiple pages of similarities, like our heroes are both sexy, our heroes are both from the same state, I always say that it's a bad idea and you will lose and it will cost you a lot of money. A federal judge has finally exhaustively treated the "you will lose" in this case, and to my complete lack of shock, the person making the copyright claim over pages of similarities like "our protagonists are both scared and smell nice" has lost. This saga has taken years from both parties' lives. It passed the 7-figure mark in attorney's fees years ago. I cannot imagine what it has cost at this point. I have an idea what it cost years ago because when I first saw this years ago, I read several of the filings, and one of the filings mentioned the cost to date. If you would like to destroy your mental health, waste years of your life, and set fire to several $1,000,000, you should sue someone because they wrote a book that contains a large number of the same tropes that your book contains. Otherwise, if you have $3 to $5 million to spare, I strongly suggest that you do literally anything else with your money. Therapy, a trip around the world, fund a basic income project in your neck of the woods, buy a politician. This lawsuit was the most, you both did a mashup of Harry Potter and Twilight, you weirdos, thing ever. Thank you, Courtney Milan from Blue Sky. So, to summarize, if someone steals your literal words, you can probably sue and recover some damages. But if you write a book that has similar tropes and structure as another writer, you're safe. Also, if you write a book using a lot of familiar tropes and later on see another book on the shelves that uses those same tropes, it doesn't mean the author stole your shit. It probably just means that you watched the same episodes of Buffy too many times and got your ideas from the same place. In short, ideas are cheap. You're not that precious. Nobody is stealing your story. So write the best damn book you can and get it out there to promote. Stop worrying about somebody stealing your book and worry a lot more about nobody reading it in the first damn place. Now, if you've stuck around this long, you don't deserve quite the medal that Judge McMahon does for reading 6,000 pages of romantasy, including 5.5 unpublished drafts of the same unpublished novel. My God, I would stab my eyeballs out. But you do deserve a treat for sticking through this video that long. So give yourself one. Subscribe to the channel. Click the like button. Tell me in comments what romantasy trope you find the most overdone. And if you want your name on the wall of fame like these nice people, you can, after you subscribe, you can become a member of the channel. Till next time, and the next time I come talk about authors behaving badly, bye.